We're back. It's time for the AM News Review. And right before we get to our guests this morning, Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic helps us bring you this segment every weekday morning. What are they offering? If you're a man, they say come to them for free prostate screening. If you're a woman, fertility screening for free. And here's where you can locate them. Here on Accra, Spentex opposite the Shell signboard. Kumasi, Kronoma, here behind the Angel Educational Complex. There's Takrady Anaje State, Tema Community 22, Techiman Hansua, and Esiama and Zema. If you'd like to reach them via the phone lines, these are the numbers to call. 0244 867 068 or 0274 234 321. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic, the end to chronic disease. Now, joining me in the studio this morning, we have two supercalifragilisticexpialidocious gentlemen. I knew I would get them with that. Kofi Kapito is Chief Executive, Consumer Protection Agency, and we have former GJA President, the Ghana Journalists Association, Afeo Money. He says the other name I shouldn't mention it because it is colonial name.
Colonialism.
I love your outfits this morning.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But Kofi's is super.
My niece actually sells this. It's called keche.
Keche?
Yes.
Okay, so you are looking stylish this morning.
Yes.
Were you keche?
Were you me keche?
Keche and say, "Ombe you me keche."
Remember, I can say, "Ombe you keche." They are on the Patrice Lumumba Road, in the old Georgia Hotel building.
I see. I see. Okay, we are now we're now back for advertisement. What are you wearing? I know there's this gentleman who clothes you as well. What are you wearing this morning? This looks
Oman.
really nice. As
Again,
well.
yeah, Oman.
Oman?
Yeah, Oman.
Oman doing the most.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I am also...
Who are you?
Who am I wearing? I'm going to give you details shortly, since you want to do buga with it. There's a young man who is doing some amazing stuff, and he's the one I am wearing. He's called Mudasiru, Siru Africa for short. So you can actually call him, and I'll do this at the end as well, 0557 029 138. He's available on Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram at Siru-Africa. Siru-Africa. Young man doing amazing things. If you love what I have on, then you might as well reach out to him. You see, I've beaten you guys.
Because you have the mic.
Because I have the mic. But you also have a mic. In our workroom.
Only one is controlling. Sure.
All right, gentlemen, let's make the most of the time we have, starting with your minute and a half of what you have, that burning issue on your chest this morning. I'll start with you, Bluebird. How old are you? I am 10 years old. I feel money.
Mine is a piece of advice enveloped in humility to His Excellency the President, not to plunge headlong into controversies.
The President?
Yeah, the President, not to, yeah.
Okay.
The most consequential office of the land is not immune from controversies. But at the same time, he should do what is humanly possible, not to envelop himself in controversies which will come with all kinds of verbal stones and erode his brand. Whether I like it or not, he occupies a special place in history. The Free SHS will extol his name forever. But at the same time, he should be mindful of the Peace Force, especially in the pronouncement he makes in his speeches to the nation. This is a reference to who really founded Kwame Nkrumah. Not too long ago, somebody added a preface, "Your Kwame Nkrumah," and that ignited a huge controversy and fury. And as expected, there was barrage of verbal stones against that person. So this tells you that there's some aura, there's something surrounding Kwame Nkrumah. So if you don't take care and you step on those landmines, political landmines, you suffer the consequences. So His Excellency, last week we happened to be in a program, but I didn't have the opportunity to verbalize this concern, and a piece of advice I believe it to be forwarded to you. Do as much as possible not to plunge headlong into needless controversies, I take.
Thank you very much. I'm sure you've heard as well of, and it just baffles my mind sometimes. You know, the former Speaker of Parliament,
Michael Quay?
Michael.
Right Honorable
Senior.
Aaron Mike Okwe.
Senior.
Yeah.
Right. But the other one is not Aaron. He is Aaron Mike
He's Aaron,
Okwe.
oh, okay.
So Michael Quay Jr., but Aaron, that's why I added Aaron to it. Also wades in and says, and today...
It's like Herbert and Walker Books.
sort of. Today, when I share my blunt thoughts, I'll get into that as well. But then he also comes in and says, oh, if you're enjoying human rights, it's only the MPP you should thank. You shouldn't thank Kwame Nkrumah or anything of the sort. I know Kwame Nkrumah had his excesses, but to say, I mean, it's almost as though you were saying, as for him, human rights, it were... I don't know, Kofi Kapito. Maybe you want to take a bite of that. If you do, before you get into your own issue.
Not quite. You see, the way we do politics in Ghana reminds me about how Trump has changed the political landscape in America.
Yeah.
Okay, he's behaving like an African leader. I mean, and this is the first time that I lived in America for 20-something years. I just got back last Monday.
Yeah.
So you ask yourself, quote unquote, we say we are doing democracy, we're doing politics. We don't want to move away from it. Okay, and we do these things like little kids at the playground. Nay. I poke you, you poke me. It's not going to help us. But the reason why I want the 1 minute is, you know, Ghana is a beautiful country. Somebody said a joke that when God created the world, Angel Gabriel asked God, where is this small island that you've given them everything?
That joke is, some people find it offensive, but
it's
you
not
go
offensive.
ahead.
I'll say it because I am also here. Okay, so then he asked me, you say, oh, you wait till you see the people are put in there.
Yeah.
And let me, you see, Mr. Kako, we are Ghanaians. Let's talk like Ghanaians sometimes so that Ghana can be better. This ostrich thing that we do, look, I travel, and after a week, I'm in a hurry to come back because I love Ghana, I miss Ghana. When I get back, in my neighborhood, somebody who knows very well thinks he has the right to take a road and put a building on a culvert.
Yeah.
Are you getting my point? And the question is, I'd like to say thank you to the Minister for Local Government. Martin J. Kosa. I mean, sometimes the assemblies, I don't know what is wrong with our assemblies. They wait for something to be done before they react. Why do I have to go all the way to the local government minister for me to have this guy told not to do what he's doing? So you ask yourself, some of the assemblies, are they really working? And in other jurisdictions, like maybe you will get a chance, you know this two thing that I hear the vice president is talking about.
Yeah.
He's going to bring it back.
That if we had done it the right way, instead of maybe 700 million, we could be earning 2-point-something billion.
We can even earn more than that. I traveled from Washington to New York. My tour was almost $60 one way, in and out, $120.
But you're moving from coast to coast.
No, I'm talking, but I'm going from Accra to Kumasi. What is it?
Yeah, but you're moving from coast to coast.
It's coast to coast too. The same way it's from New York to Washington.
But coast to coast, the difference in span, Washington D.C.
Washington D.C. to New York.
To New York.
Yeah, it's a different state.
Well,
I'm not going from Virginia to Maryland though. I'm going from Washington to New York. But the question is, like he said, I agree with him. If we had done it properly, because these people sometimes don't consult. Look, parking, enforcement, do you know is the number one revenue generating for like Europe, North America? Because you have to park. Look.
So that journey you did, even if you're doing it, let me see, by
road.
By road, that's approximately 225 miles.
Yes.
Which is approximately 4 hours of travel. Okay.
And then from Kumasi to Accra to Kumasi, how many
it
hours?
should be shorter, but
I'm
we
asking how many-
spend about 3
because
hours.
of the way we do things. Are you getting my point? Why are we spending all that time on this Achimota or Fanko? Was it in Sawo?
Yeah, I see
Why?
what
It
you're
doesn't
talking
make any
about.
sense. We don't even work at night. Other countries.
So the bit he says about everybody, regardless, even if you're using it or not, we have to create a system where you are all paying for the tolls and all of that.
Mr. Agapo,
How
if
do
I
you
take
feel
a taxi
about it?
from JFK and I'm going to my house and the taxi driver goes over a toll bridge, do you know I, the passenger, I pay for it? Ask
Pay for
anybody.
what?
Yeah, for the toll. I, the passenger, I pay for it. So
So
I'm
you're
just
saying we should
that
go ahead with the tolls, right?
it's doable if only they will allow some people who have expertise instead of these political people. Okay, sometimes people who do this don't even have any iota about what they are doing.
Okay.
You know, so to me, Ghana is a beautiful place, but unfortunately, the people I have a problem with.
You are one of us.
And that's what I'm saying. I said I'm here.
Okay. Okay.
Are you getting
All right,
my
let's
point?
let's
So
get
you
into
and
the
I,
papers now.
let's do a crusade and see how we can change Ghana.
No, Ghana changing starts with us, all of us. You can't
say you
sit
and I.
on the fence and think it will be done. But you see, my problem is when you have people follow a certain trajectory when it comes to rhetoric. And that's what we've seen, especially in the Fourth Republic. Usually I don't want to go into 1979, the Constitution. I don't want to go into other jurisdictions. The Fourth Republic, with the Gen Zs know, which all of us know, how has it served us? And you have all these people waxing lyrical, talking, we'll do this, we'll do that now. Oh, we'll vote for me, and we'll do this with our gold and our oil. Vote for me, and you'll get phones for 1 CD and 2 CDs. Vote for me, and there'll be a 24-hour economy, this and that. There are so many things flying around. I'm wondering how many of them are actually meant. You know? I'm seriously wondering because
I agree with you.
while you talk about followers in any institution, right? That's why we call some people leaders.
Yes.
They are supposed to
Lead.
chart a certain
Yes,
path
and lead.
for others to follow.
Follow.
If the leaders themselves are not leading,
I agree with you.
what do you think
The
happens?
media have
But let's
role to ensure that such leaders are held accountable. They should match their promises against delivery for the people to see.
Yeah, well, let's get into the papers. So I'll start with mine, go very quickly, and then we'll get into the other stories. Let me see, there's this story here. I think later I should.
You know what is funny in front of the newspapers?
Pardon me?
I don't, the newspapers about this OSP thing. There are about 5 or 6 newspapers here, right? I think the only paper that actually got it right was the Daily Graphic.
Yeah, of
And-
course. When
and-
if
and
you read
more-
if
yeah.
you read the Ghanaian publisher, you will get a certain feel. I'm leaving it there.
No,
if you
I'm
read the
just saying-
Daily Guide,
Yes.
Yeah.
you will get a certain feel.
I'm-
if you read the Custodian,
I'm talking
and the
about
stuff.
even the front page.
Yeah.
Mahama is government official number 1, publisher. Daily Guide, Mahama is government official number 1, SP. This one, government, the same thing. It's only the Daily Graphic that got the story that Airbus scandal, OSP clears Mahama. I'm not an NDC person.
How does that, you know, and I've always said here that I can almost guess one story. I can prognosticate and know how certain papers will report that same story. And it's so skewed, it is crazy.
If you want to skew the story, I don't have a problem. But don't misprint or don't mislead the front page. Okay,
But that's the whole idea.
Graphic says Airbus scandal, OSP clears Mahama. Maybe their story is even much more accusing
Exactly.
the OSP than this one.
Yeah. But let the bottom truth come first.
Exactly.
Anyway,
Exactly.
let's get into them. So the Daily Graphic, Airbus scandal, OSP clears Mahama. AG appeals after forcing Jakpa acquittal. New gold refinery opens. Vice President demands responsible gold sourcing. To whom can NDC sneak through supposed cracks in NPP? That's the question. And then $155 million coastline restoration project launched. On the back page, President cut short for dualization of Adenta Dodowa Road. I believe that was after he paid a visit to the Logos Hope, that shipping vessel with books, always passionate about such issues. I see him in the same attire he had there. So good job, Mr. President, going round. So the president performed a symbolic sword-cutting ceremony at Dodowa to commence the dualization of the Adenta Dodowa Road project. The project, which began on March 25th this year and is being undertaken by Oswald Investment Limited, an indigenous Ghanaian firm, is 19% done. The 22-kilometer road project is expected to be completed in 36 months. You know, while this is heartwarming, I always have problems when I read stories like this one. You know why? Because if in the election we're about to have,
in the next 4 months,
if power changes hands, this project
will stall.
I nearly said something. You mark it down, this project. If you are not careful, the contractor, this and that.
I mean, eye on this.
I wish we could have a system where we compelled our political parties constitutionally. Don't start a project, especially within the last 1.5, 2 years, that will last longer than your tenure. Execute projects that you can complete within. Look at Agenda 111.
Look, let me tell you what.
Again, in the name of...
You could have a very bad situation. Yeah. Look at Saglemi.
Because you know why?
Saglemi is a bad case.
Let's have the money he was making.
Saglemi is indefensible. At the time, we are facing such a huge housing deficit. These facilities have been allowed to rot. People are crying for accommodation. And thankfully, the new minister, Kojo Ponkuma, has initiated moves to get the private sector to rehabilitate and get people to occupy them. But it's such an indictment on our sense of responsibility as a nation. It's bad. Meanwhile, the directive principles of state polity underlines the need for succeeding government to continue projects started by the previous administration. This is a constitutional provision which is begging for implementation. So as we move forward as a nation, we should do the needful by continuing projects started by previous government. His Excellency, the former President John Dramani Mahama, has promised to complete all projects started by his predecessor if he wins the presidency. But this is something the media should keep the spotlight on to ensure that if indeed he ascends the presidency again, he will fulfill this promise.
Kofi, and here's something that I often say. It doesn't matter if there's corruption in there, right? Still execute the project. Deal with those who engaged in the corruption, but don't let the taxpayer lose out.
Because we, the taxpayers, we don't even know what our responsibilities are, honestly. Because if we did, we will not allow these people to get away with murder. And we've been doing this since, like you said, the Fourth Republic. Okay, this nonsense excused by this governments that it is in the pipeline. We are working on it very soon. You know, it annoys me.
Do you know the most annoying one?
Which one?
Oh, the project is 60% complete, 30% complete. When you leave office, if the project is not complete, what have you done?
You see, my question is, and this is what people, I get angry, not just this particular time, when our government, the leaders or the president, the vice president, the chief of staff and blah, 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 they go to a funeral and they say the president has donated 50,000 cedis. Is it his money? Are you getting my point? Yeah. It is our money. Because we know how much the president earns.
Yeah.
The president cannot afford to give 50,000 cedis to people. Yeah. And then we applaud.
That thing, I've spoken about it time without number and said that whole sham of going out and, like you rightly said, it's not their money. They're not giving us their money.
But we should also look at the other side. For instance, the current president had a revenue stream. He owns a law firm, which is extremely well, which is a source of revenue, in addition to what he earns as president. And what he earns from the private sector is not comparable at all to what he earns as president. Yeah.
Do you know Trump was in trouble? Why? Because of his tax declaration.
Yeah.
Okay, we are jokers in this country. There's no way you can convince me what you are telling me this morning. Because if anything, we should know the president's tax returns, how much he made and how much he paid in
Do we
taxes.
even know for certain? Do
That
we
is-
know for certain
By
his
using the
assets
vehicle
and
of
liabilities before becoming president and his assets and liabilities now? Do we?
Massa, it's not
By
easy.
using the vehicle of RTI, we can.
Massa, RTI, Joy FM, I think you've written for something. What has happened? Let's we see. Look, I don't like when
But
we
others
do
have
this.
succeeded
No, I don't
in
like.
fetching
No, it's what they want to give you. It's what they will give you. Because the system is not transparent.
Right.
Okay, my issue is, as a taxpayer, let me tell you what, after voting, I don't care which party is in power. Because my wishes, my life, should be complete with whoever that is the president of the country. I don't care about NDC, I don't care about NPP. I am with Afafanto now. If we have opportunity and we mess up,
okay, this news.
I've always, yes, I'm just saying, if we mess up.
Is this the first time you're mentioning this?
No.
Oh, you said it before.
No, it's all the place.
Okay, this news.
No,
No,
I mean being with the Afafanto movement.
Oh, all the place.
I see.
Yeah,
Okay. I've never heard you say it.
Let me, because maybe you don't, after this place, you don't do too much. That's why. You know, let me tell you what. To me, it's annoying that after election, the government behaves as if he's only there for his party people. Okay, even the MPs, if you win in a constituency, how do you know that the other people did not also vote for you?
Yeah.
And then they come into power. They only care about the party people in the constituency. So at any given time, Mr. Money, Ghana will never work. You know why? When there's a change of government, when there's a change of leadership, half of the population becomes redundant.
Yeah.
Even toilet. Let's vote this election. Let NDC win this election. See how people will go and beat people over public toilet.
But
As if it
I think
belongs to them.
that is a thing of the past, though.
Oh,
I think
Massa,
I saw it.
Massa.
Was it under Kufuor? And that
Oh,
was it.
Massa.
I've never
As
seen that
assembly
again.
people, I say we are going to go into an election.
Maybe we're taking the radar off.
No, I'm saying we are going to go into an election. Okay, look, let me tell you what. It is funny how some people think because they've been given some small power, they behave as if.
Okay, so let's make that your final point. So we can
No, I'm just saying that Ghana can work.
Okay.
I believe in Ghana. The only thing is we've had, I'm not talking about we've had poor leadership. Period.
Okay.
It's poor leadership. And that's what I say, we've had. Our vision is so short. We don't even plan 20 years from now. The Ghana, was it the Millennium, was it a development thing for Ghana? Was it?
Millennium Challenge.
No. Ghana Development Plan. What's it called? The one that...
Is it the NDPC? Yes.
yeah, NDPC.
Yeah.
Which of the governments?
Right.
Come on now. We are jokers.
All right. Let's get into other stories very quickly. New gold refinery opens. Vice President demands responsible gold sourcing. The first gold refinery in which the state holds a stake has been commissioned to facilitate a new vision of adding value to a significant portion of the country's gold. With a capacity to refine 400 kilograms of doré gold, that is raw gold, per day, or 132 tons of 24 carats, 99.99% pure gold annually, the Royal Ghana Gold Refinery, that's the RGGR, can process the entire volume of the gold exported from Ghana within 300 working days and process others from neighboring countries. It is a public-private partnership between the Bank of Ghana, which took over the stake of Precious Minerals Marketing Company, and Rosie Royal Minerals Limited. All right, so that is the story. And then he also spoke about the gold purchase program. Touching on the gold purchase program of the Bank of Ghana, which began in 2021, Dr. Bawumia said the program and the refinery were positioning Ghana as the gold hub of Africa. In that regard, he said it marked a new era for the country and ushered the country into its vision of building a resilient economy anchored on the mineral resources of the country in a golden age of natural resource governance. Let me go to page 13 and end there. I'll end on page 13 quickly. Former President John Dramani Mahama did not receive a bribe or engage in any corrupt practice in relation to the purchase of 3 military aircraft from aerospace giants Airbus, the Office of the Special Prosecutor has concluded. Now, in its investigative report, the OSP further found that Mr. Mahama did not allow the high offices of vice president or president to be used for corrupt practices during the negotiations for the purchase of the aircraft between 2009 and 2015, while no public officials involved in the aircraft purchase were found to have also engaged in any corrupt act. I'll just do this last bit. The OSP further came to a determination that there was no evidence to suggest that Samuel Adam Mahama, a brother of the former president and an agent involved in the deal on behalf of Airbus, as well as other agents, obtained favors from former President Mahama or became a conduit for the payment of bribes to the former president or any public official. And finally, the Office of the AG has appealed to the Supreme Court to reverse the Court of Appeal decision to acquit and discharge Minority Leader Dr. Kasilatu Forson and businessman Richard Jakpa. Your take. I'll start with you, Afil Moni.
Ours is a country governed by rules, and our laws offer the presumption of innocence to everyone until proven guilty by a court of competent jurisdiction. Even though His Excellency, former President Mahama, had been bristling with confidence that his hands were clean, at least he suffered some flex out of this case, because whether he likes it or not, it is something which brought some asterisk against his reputation as a former leader. And OSP has put a finality to this case.
What do you think the symbolism or meaning of this is ahead of election 2024? The NDC, I have heard say he is squeaky clean, he is this and that. What does this mean ahead of the elections for the former president?
The good news is that for once, this issue has been cleared. I mean, the MPP predictably is not happy, calling the ruling shambolic, incompetence, and all that. This is their opinion to which they are fully entitled. But His Excellency the President and NDC family as a whole will save this, something which has cleared the way for them to go out there to campaign to in an attempt to return to power. But let's look at the other side of this ruling. Okay. It comes with some blazing beacon, warning public officials
to stay away.
Yes, stay away from conflict of interest issues.
And for me, I would have two: the Kanazue businessman, the Burkinabe businessman issue. Though the former president,
you mean the
Ford Explorer,
yeah,
didn't use the vehicle, just put it in the pool for. Probably shouldn't have gone there.
Yeah.
Anyway, you get it. Best of intentions, but you got yourself similar situation. So maybe there's a lesson in there, like
there's a lesson.
Like it said.
A huge lesson is that, and this is a fountain every politician should drink. That never find yourself willfully in any conflictual situation.
Right.
Any situation which will conflict with your office. This one point we need to highlight as we analyze this story.
All right. Don't get involved. Very quickly, would you like to react to the AG going to the Apex Court? Very quickly, so that you can get it.
Authorities have spoken against the AG's attempt to go to the Supreme Court to have the
Court of Appeal ruling
reversed.
Oh, yeah.
According to me, it's marks of political vendetta, and I think many are inclined to go with that opinion that the Attorney General is going beyond bounds in pushing.
He's going beyond bounds.
Yeah, that's his opinion.
Okay. Kofi Kapito.
I'm laughing.
Do I smell mischief?
You can smell an elephant.
I can smell an elephant. All right, quick thoughts. I want us to get into your papers.
Let me tell you what, it is interesting. Like I said, my biggest issue, my mother didn't even go to class 1. So when my mother makes mistakes in terms of academic-wise, I can excuse my mother because she hasn't learned the system.
Right.
But I have a problem with quote-unquote educated people who mislead Ghanaians. Because you at least have been taught a system or a formula. So let it apply to me so that it will benefit my interest. Look, we are talking about this OSP thing. To me, I'm happy that it was... my only problem with this whole OSP from day one was the way we went about it.
Okay.
I beg you. I don't know whether we brought the American one. If it's the American one, the OSP's office is not a permanent office in America.
Right.
It's a cage-based thing. So why are we making an OSP a permanent thing? Because it was politically good for a particular time. This same OSP that this same government brought him, the same government is chasing him. Same government is accusing him. Are you getting my point? So the question is, what are we doing to ourselves? When we learn, like so they say in Tree, we'll be on power seminal. I mean, and this is what we do. And I get angry. I get angry that Ghana, we are wasting money to do things. If they want to go to the Court of Appeals, somebody wants to go for, that is what the courts are there for.
Supreme Court.
Okay, but my issue with this whole thing is, the Auto-Forcing one, do they have new evidence? I don't know whether in Ghana, because in
exactly, in other
places,
you must adduce you must adduce different further evidence before your case can be.
Try me for the same offense.
But this is an appeal of the ruling of the Court of Appeal.
Sure.
They have that legal leeway to ask the apex court. We feel the courts did not properly address X, Y, Z, for which reason we think you at the apex court should give finality to the issue by ruling on it. Which is true.
And then somebody can also go to the Supreme Court. Right. That's what the courts are there. Somebody can go to review.
Right.
I like the system. Right. I don't like fighting. Look, let me tell you what. This thing that we do, and the gold thing, you mentioned the gold thing, right?
Yeah.
Look, we you know, I don't know whether it's the headlines or the people who are supposedly telling us this really have it tight. One of the former GIA bosses, right? He said he was so sad. He went for this international refinery gold thing in Dubai. And he said when they went, they had the number of whatever Ghana has exported.
Yeah.
And then when he got there, the people told him that whatever you have exported 3 times that amount.
No, but I mean, it's not just Abu Dhabi or wherever. India, I've heard similar reports where India would say, in X year, per our figures, we imported X amount of gold from Ghana. And the fraction that, in fact, one country alone, what we had exported was more than the totality of what we said we had exported that year.
That is my point.
So
that is my point. So what are we doing? Is it because we don't like, you see, ask anybody, an American, typical American, you have a gun on his head. You are about to shoot him.
No gun trick on the show, please.
Hold on. Before you shoot the guy, do you know what he'll tell you? He'll tell you, God bless America. Because they believe in America. They live America. How many Ghanaians will be arrested outside and deny that they are not Ghanaians? Ghanaians are arrested.
But Kofi, the point is that in terms of democracy, no country is purer than pure.
I agree.
Whiter than white.
But somebody is better. But somebody is better. Somebody is better.
What happened about 4 years ago?
Yeah.
When a city
I know where you're
attempted
the Capitol, the Capitol building riot.
Yeah, because he was able to convince people.
Yeah. But Kofi has already said that he feels Trump is acting like an African leader. Let's get into your papers. I know you have a stack of 3, I'll come to you quickly, just the headlines, because some of the stories we've already looked at. Then we get into. So
OSP nails Mahama, confirms government official 1 status. That is the custodian. Massive boost for domestic revenue generation. Bamia opens modern gold refinery. The Daily Searchlight. OSP conducts lazy, shambolic, and incompetent probe into Airbus scandal. AG appeals Jakpa Auto-Forcing acquittal to Supreme Court. And
you know what's interesting? If it had gone the other way, and he had hanged Mahama, the story would probably
have been different.
OSP hangs Mahama. Yeah. OSP proves Mahama is corrupt. OSP this. But like I said, some of the newspapers, honestly, as a media person, I read wide from different. For example, the gold story, the Baumia gold story, I had read it from Forbes. online before reading it today. A lot of these I'll read from entities that I know will give me credibility.
They are independent.
Apart from my own, group, the multimedia group. So some of these papers, honestly, when I read them, especially with my foreknowledge of where they stand, I read them with a grain of salt. I don't pay any attention to.
Ben,
as a media person, I don't, honestly.
And critical, you can see that one critical element in journalism is so conspicuous by its absence in all these headlines: objectivity.
Yeah.
And theoretically, objectivity is the purest gem of journalism. So ours is to objectivize issues, to enable media content consumers to make informed decisions. But
the point is, put the bare facts out there.
Exactly.
Let the people
go through,
reason through them, read between the lines. But you see some of the headlines, and obviously
failed woefully this morning. They have failed their.
Well, it is what it is.
But you're talking about if the results have been on the other side. Yeah. The things you see.
The headlines you would have seen.
When I was a kid, and sometimes I ask myself, the Nkrumah that we are hailing Nkrumah today, when Nkrumah was overthrown, we used to sing as a little bit, "Sidi Kwasiebi Tri Daso, Sidi Kwasiebi," when you're sorting Nkrumah,
and I remember, I've been told
Nkrumah Janio Kotroka
because he had put his head on.
I'm just saying, we do those things without even thinking.
Yeah, ignorance.
Look, in terms of, they say, Keeper's House, Chapel and Rose, 420 onto NHIS. Are they their members or people from their neighborhood? If you enroll your own members, it's their own money that you've taken to go and enroll them. But it's a good thing. Baumia pledges to reduce mining export tax. But there is not promising to reduce car duties at the port.
The pledges are piling up, aren't they?
Doing what?
Yeah, he's promised.
Kofi?
Yeah.
To do what?
Yeah, he's promised
Kofi?
to address.
Address what?
Master,
listen, politicians, when they are not in power, what they talk is they say when the man is in the water, okay,
drowning,
and he's, if you take him out of the water, the same mouth that he was doing, he will use the same mouth to insult you.
I think what we've not seen, what we've not seen so far, is someone promise to veer into the territory of an alchemist. Maybe promise that when you make me president, I'll turn stones into gold. I guess that's the only thing we've not heard.
But we cannot look. You know why Mr. Lancho Martins, one of his pillars is that we need to look at the Constitution. The Constitution needs to be when they go for that debate, if they will go for a debate.
But it is human beings.
What I'm saying is, if you go,
the Constitution.
No, let me explain.
So we should start from the basics.
No, I agree. Yeah. Remember when Obama came down, he said that we should build strong institutions.
Yeah.
I told him that what he's telling me doesn't make any sense. People don't understand. I say, no, we need a strong man to build a strong institution. Institutions don't build themselves.
Let me ask you an interesting question. Is Paul Kagame a strong man?
He's a strong man. Very strong. Very, 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 very strong.
Is that what Ghana needs?
Maybe even better than Paul Kagame.
Let me ask you another question.
Sure.
You actually look like him in a way. Do you know where I'm going? Do you know where I'm going?
No,
was Rawlings a strong man?
He was a strong man at a certain point until he himself also became like a typical Ghanaian. So that money is very, very important. Yeah, that is what got Rawlings. Let me tell you what. When Rawlings was sworn in, when he became the president,
civilian president,
my mother was affected by Rawlings. Okay, so I have something that I didn't like about Rawlings. But he gave a speech. He said he was young. Certain things that he did was wrong. Okay, we should forgive him. But the revolution still continues in the democratic space. That's the word he used. Go and check that thing. And I said, this man is not serious. Because guess what? I saw Rawlings. I was locked up at Burma camp for 22 days. Bae Chamfo was the one who came to release me. So I saw them. But later on, look, people talk about military. The shortest, I don't have a problem. But once they stay longer, they become corrupt just like any other individual. Cuba, go to Cuba right now. Every lucrative business in Cuba is owned by Castro's family. Cuba.
If you say every, and I've lived in Cuba, relax.
Yes.
If you say every,
I said lucrative. I didn't say every business. I didn't say every business.
But I know the Castro brothers.
No. You check. You check. I'm just saying that the question.
No, the bone of contention is every.
No, I'm for democracy. I'd rather have democracy than to have a coup d'etat.
All right.
Sometimes, like the guy in Burkina Faso.
Yeah.
When he came, people held him.
Yeah.
But now he has entrenched himself. For how long? You say you are coming to remove
but they've given a term, haven't they? A period within which
they do that all the time.
You?
Everywhere they go. Look,
so right now I'm curious. We have to go. All the issues here, we've already dealt with them. Mahama, AG, the Adenta Dodowa route. We've already looked at them. Before we go, though, we have about 2 minutes before we go. Civilian dispensation, military dispensation, bobo, and no one is calling for any military, whatever, relax. Where do we go from here?
To me, we should try the civilian thing until we get it better.
Since 1992, when we abandoned the bullet course and embraced the ballot box as means of choosing our leaders, we've come a long way as a democracy, but we still have a lot of pitfalls. And we need to learn from them. And the media should play their role of holding to account people in positions of power and authority.
Right.
So that we allow leaders to have their way. Some, for obvious reasons, will shy away from holding leaders accountable because of where their bread is buttered. But if our democracy should thrive, if the democracy continue to serve as a beacon of accomplishment in Africa, then the media should up their game to ensure that politicians match their promises with delivery.
All right. You know what, Ben, let me tell you what. We talk about...
So these will be your final words.
Yeah, we talk about Sagleme and all those things. What annoys me, they pretend as if it's their money.
Yeah.
The leaders that come and then they abandon or they start. Kofi did Asokore Mampong. You remember? This.
I remember that thing. It was there for a long while.
Yes.
I think it was it not the first term of.
I'm just saying.
Not I've done quite that. And you see, it's even so political because it was done by Kofi. So
let me. Ben, what even kills me is we say we are building for affordable houses for people who cannot afford the high end.
It's the same politicians.
It's the same politicians who go and buy it. Look. When you say, they say you are comparing, but the man has done something right. In countries that are much more advanced, they will build buildings. It's for a certain income.
Bracket.
Ben, if even I can pay 10 times the rent, they will tell me my salary is above, so I don't qualify.
Exactly. Right. Okay, so we have to go. Later, after Prime Take, I'll be sharing my blunt thoughts with you. I've titled it, A Tale of Two Cities, Ghana's Classist Society and the Vileness of Our Misleadership. A Tale of Two Cities, Ghana's Classist Society and the Vileness of Our Misleadership. That I'll bring to you later, but let me celebrate. This one says, from mom to son, happy birthday to my son, a young talent of Kengit FC, Joshua Ansan. May the Lord favor you and may he enlarge your coast beyond your wildest dreams. Happy birthday, my son. It is from your mom, Esther Ansan, to you, Joshua Ansan. Happy birthday to you. Here's another one coming through from Muftau Nabila Abdullah. He says, happy birthday to Abigail Yen. May this year bring you closer to your dreams. You deserve nothing but the best, and I hope this day is as wonderful as you are. Of course, I'd also like to celebrate Mudasiru for clothing me, granting me this beautiful piece to don this morning. Before we get into Prime Take with Muftau Nabila Abdullahi. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic helping us bring you this segment every weekday. And they're offering you, if you're a man, prostate screening for free. If you're a woman, fertility screening for free. Just reach out to them at any of their branches here in Accra at Spintex opposite the Shell signboard. Kumasi, Kronoma, Buehia behind the Angel Educational Complex. Takrade Anaji Estate, Tema Community 22, Tichiman Hanswa, and Esiamanzama. You can reach them on 0244 867 068 or 0274 234 321. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic, the end to chronic disease. Those who joined us for the news review, Kofi Kapito, Chief Executive,
but
Consumer
before you
Protection
go, I have
Agency.
I have a tax for the former GJA president.
What is it?
He's talking about the media. I think the media should take a campaign to us talk about the reform or whatever that the constitution that we all know is a problem in the Fourth Republic. That should be one of the main things that the media, because if the constitution is not looked at again,
right,
whether up or down, we won't get anywhere. All
right. Maybe we should have a national dialogue on the constitution, but we have the 2010 Constitutional Review Commission's work gathering dust. We were also joined by Afil Moni, former president of the Ghana Journalists Association. Up next, Muftar Nabila with Prime Take. Do enjoy.